U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday warned countries against backing away from recently negotiated trade deals with the U.S. This follows the Supreme Court decision Friday to strike down his emergency tariffs. Trump said he would hit them with much higher duties under different trade laws. On social media, he said, quote, "Any country that wants to play games with the ridiculous Supreme Court decision, especially those that have ripped off the USA for years and even decades, will be met with a much higher tariff and worse than that which they just recently agreed to. Buyer beware." Trump said he also may impose license fees on trading partners as uncertainty over his next tariff moves gripped the global economy and sent stocks lower. A spokesperson for the U.S. Trade Representative's office did not immediately respond to a request for further comment on Trump's plans. In Brussels, the European Parliament decided on Monday to postpone a vote on the European Union's trade deal with the U.S. after Trump imposed a new temporary import duty of 15% on imports from all countries.
They don't know what would be the terms of the deal now.
Nicolas Frederic Poitiers, a research fellow at the Bruegel think tank, says there is a high level of uncertainty in Europe over how this will play out.
It is unclear what will be the rules under this new tariff, so this has to be calculated good by good. It is not unlikely that there will be goods where the tariff rate will be somewhat higher than under the agreement of last year. At the same time, it is not clear if these tariffs will stand for very long anyway. So right now, there's a lot of uncertainty over this.
Trump's new duty is set to take effect early Tuesday morning. At that same moment, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency said it would stop collecting the duties ruled illegal by the Supreme Court's decision.
First, I would like to offer my condolences to the families of our colleagues who lost their lives.
Compañeros que perdieron la vida.
We are also going and recognition to our military personnel who carried out a successful operation. It can be viewed from many perspectives, but it is clear that they accomplished their mission. What was demonstrated? The strength of the Mexican state. There is no doubt about that. Thank you.
Putin не досягнув своїх цілей.
Putin has not achieved his goals. He has not broken Ukrainians. He has not won this war. We have preserved Ukraine, and we will do everything to secure peace and justice.
Справедливість. Сьогодні рівно 4 роки.
Today marks exactly 4 years since Putin started his 3-day push to take Kyiv, and that, in fact, says a great deal about our resistance, about how Ukraine has fought all this time. Behind those words stand millions of our people. Behind those words stand immense courage, incredibly hard work, endurance, and the long path Ukraine has been pursuing since February 24th.
I lost my father during an airstrike during this war. I never thought that I would be an orphan or sit at a table with orphans. I'm so sad because I am here and I don't have a father to protect me. I lost my support and everything in my life.
ورايا يكون سندي. أنا فقدت سندي وظهري وكل حاجة في حياتي بعد معاناة لأطفالنا وبعد وقت.
After the suffering that our children faced, this is the first Ramadan we gathered on one table after the ceasefire took place. The children are enjoying these atmospheres, especially at the orphans' camp. All of them gather and they have the same suffering. This is a joyful moment during Ramadan to celebrate with the children and give them support.
وفي الأجواء الرمضانية هذه.
Gold rose over 1% on Monday, reaching $5,152 per ounce by late morning, the highest price in 3 weeks. The dollar fell after the Supreme Court found on Friday Trump's sweeping tariffs exceeded his authority. The fresh uncertainty in trade policy stirred up demand for the safe haven metal and made greenback-priced commodities like bullion more affordable for overseas buyers. Trump responded over the weekend by lashing out at the court and imposing a blanket 15% levy on imports, the maximum level allowed under the law, and insisting trade deals with nearly 20 countries, most with higher tariffs, should stay. Data on Friday showed underlying US inflation increase more than expected in December, and signs are pointing to a further acceleration in January. This could discourage the Federal Reserve from easing interest rates soon, lessening the appeal of holding non-yielding gold.
It's not possible to get out right now because first, we're not allowed to leave the resort under any circumstance. So we're locked down in the resort. And even if we went out on the streets, the cartel would stop us and force us to get out of the car and light the car on fire. So the whole city is under lockdown. No one is going out because everyone is scared of getting stopped by the cartel. I can't even go home even if I wanted to because New York is in a snowstorm, blizzard. I hope that it ends soon. This is supposed to be like a vacation, a sanctuary where everything is peaceful, and then now it's like I'm currently in a war zone. I do feel like more of a target knowing that we are involved, and I feel like the cartel is a little angry that the US is involved, so I'm scared that I'm going to be targeted more. I think that we should have been warned in some sort of way, or at least they could have put out a travel advisory to not travel to Mexico during this time if they knew they were going to do something like this.
I think it is very important because it's completely different from our contemporary times, no? In which, yes, you can do every kind of photos with a smartphone in a few seconds. No? We risk to lose all this kind of information. The mosaic technique is exactly the contrary. So it is something made to resist for centuries.
Sto realizzando praticamente la parte del libro, che è la parte anche più difficoltosa, nel senso che le lettere sono molto piccole e questo lavoro è realizzato tutto quanto. È un lavoro abbastanza minuzioso perché le tesserine...
It's quite meticulous work because the tiles are small, so we have to reconstruct the original fairly faithfully. So it's a long job that requires a lot of patience, but it's very rewarding, very rewarding.
The best thing there is in Greece, the 3-day carnival. The best.
The best!
We are having a fantastic time. This is my first time coming here, and I highly recommend others to come.
Brazil has decided to revoke a decree that would have expanded Amazonian waterways in a federal privatization program, a government official said on Monday. That's after indigenous protesters occupied Cargill's Santarém River Port terminal over the weekend, prompting a suspension of operations. Protesters said the decree would have allowed dredging on rivers like the Tapajos, threatening water quality and the fishing they rely on to survive. Grains such as soy and corn are moved along the rivers before reaching export markets. Cargill shipped out about 6 million metric tons of soybeans and corn through Santarém last year, according to port sector data. Over 70% of the total grain volume is handled at the entire port. Indigenous leader Gilson Tupinamba said the demonstration was an exercise in democracy and a lesson to Brazil. Cargill did not immediately respond to a request for comment.